going on, beautiful people? Thank you for tuning in once again. You guys already know the message, why I keep making these videos. One family, one love, one heart. We are one consciousness experiencing itself subjectively. There's no such thing as death. Life is only a dream. And we're the imaginations of ourselves. Bill Hicks. I love that quote. I love that quote because when you think about it, really, we're all just God experiencing itself subjectively. Like, we're all the same. So this is the point of making these videos. What I want to talk about in this video, one of you beautiful people, James, brought up a good point on my microdosing video. You know, you left a nice comment, bro. You said, you know, you're all in for experimenting, but don't you think you're no different than someone who's addicted to painkillers or anti-anxiety pills by microdosing regularly? You know, because, you know, now you're taking this thing to enhance life. You're not sober, and therefore you're not the same person without it. Very, very good points, bro. Very good points. Thank you for your insightful comment. I thought about it a little bit. And let me give you my perspective when it comes to microdosing a substance like LSD or mushrooms. I'll give you a perspective, and by all means, talk to me in the comments. Any of you guys, talk to me in the comments. Tell me what you think. You know, it's all, I'm not right by talking about this. Nobody is. Nobody is right. We're all sharing perspectives and ways of living. Nobody's right, man. Nobody, if somebody comes up to you and tells you, I am right, this is the only truth, bullshit. It might be a truth, but it doesn't have to be the only truth. It could be a way, one gate to the truth. You understand? And this is really what it's all about here. It's all about just, this is my truth, but it's not the only truth. It's one gate, one way that I found truth. So anyway, without going too further and being holier than thou, because what the fuck, we're all just kids learning from school. We really don't know jack shit. You don't know jack shit, I don't know jack shit. We're learning, that's all, we're learning. So here's my perspective on microdosing regularly. I do it regularly, right? And sort of a lifestyle now. Think of it like this. So what is, let's take mushrooms, say microdosing mushrooms, right? Mushrooms is just, it's something that grows in the wilderness, right? And it actually grows in a wide variety of climates. It's a fungus, it's part of Earth. Now think of it in the same way that you eat spinach and kale and fruits and veggies to get the vitamins, vitamin A, vitamin C, B12 complex, all these vitamins, all these minerals, right? In the same way you need to eat these vegetables. If you don't eat these vegetables, you're not getting your minerals and vitamins. You need that for your body to function in a healthy and optimal, I wanna emphasize on the word optimal manner. I need to eat my veggies every day. If I don't eat my veggies, I feel it right away. In 3-4 days, my body starts shutting down. I start getting cold. You know, my digestive system is like, it's freaking out, and it's almost like I threw a wrench in it. I need the veggies. I need the fiber in them. I need the minerals in them. I need the vitamins in them. I need everything in those vegetables for my body to operate optimally. Otherwise, I'm gonna start getting sick, and my immune system's gonna start shutting down, and I'm gonna just have a shittier experience of life, right? Now, here's what I want you, or here's how I think of it. I don't want you to think of it anyway. This is what I think of it. I think in the same way, by using this fungus, because LSD is also derived from a fungus. It's called, I don't know if I'm pronouncing it right, ergot, maybe, I think that's how it's pronounced. And it grows on rye, right? This is basically fungus. So let's just talk about this fungus. And by the way, something like, you guys should watch Paul Stamets, I think his name. He was on the Joe Rogan podcast. He's like this mushroom expert, talks about mushrooms. And something like 30% of the land of the earth is fungal mass, which is crazy. So fungus is all around us. It's naturally occurring. It's closer to humans than the plants, believe it or not. And the way I think of it is I'm taking this fungus, and I'm just using little tiny minute bits, because if you're microdosing, it's very tiny bits. Like if you're doing mushrooms, it's like 0.2 to 0.5 grams. Very, 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 very tiny bits. Same thing with LSD. You're taking like a sixth of a tab, eighth of a tab, and you're eating this, you're consuming this fungus, and suddenly your brain is functioning at a higher rate, at a better rate. And here's where the problem is. The problem is if there was negative side effects from that. But the inventor of LSD, Albert Hofmann, microdosed himself well into old age. And he was given lectures like at age, I think he died at age 102, and he was given lectures like up until then or something. You know, the area of microdosing is very understudied, but there seems to be no long-term negative side effects, only positive long-term side effects. That's what seems to be the case. I don't fucking know. I'm personally willing to take the risk. And here's why I'm willing to take the risk. Because I feel that by consuming these little bits of fungus, you know, on not a daily basis, but almost, because you need to reset the tolerance, my brain, I feel like these are vitamins for my brain. And if you follow Terence McKenna, who was a crazy psychonaut with crazy theories, right? No proof, but interesting guy. He has this stoned ape theory. He basically thinks that our very entire existence depended on our symbiotic relationship with mushrooms. So by medicating using this fungus, I might just simply be doing something that I should be doing as human. It's almost like how your body needs the vitamins and the minerals and the vegetables and fruits. It might very well be, and this is just a might, it might very well be that your brain needs these. It's sort of like vitamins. This fungus is sort of like vitamins for your brain, and we might actually need it as humans. Now, if you look at brain scans of hardcore meditators and people who are tripping balls on LSD or mushrooms, you will see that they have the same connections. Ram Dass, if you guys ever come across his book, he's got this great book, Be Here in the Now. I'll share some things from it I've done in past videos. He went to India and he took a bunch of LSD with him. He was this Harvard psychiatrist, right? And he was very interested in LSD back in the 60s. His name was Richard something. Anyway, Richard Albert or something. Anyway, he took this LSD, took it to one of these next level motherfuckers, these next level crazy guys in the mountains, right? These gurus, these next level gurus that, like, you know what I'm talking about, right? And very just, whoa, way out there. And he gave one of them LSD, and he gave him a shit ton of LSD. Like, he's giving him a shit ton. And he's like, try this. I want you to tell me what this is. After an hour, the guru looks at him and he says, what is the stuff you gave me? It just gave me a little bit of headache. And this is because the guy is naturally fucking stoned. Because he does so much meditating and he spends his time in the mountains and yoga and all of that. Right? So things like meditating and yoga, they can get you to have your brain rewired in those ways without you having to take an external fungus. You see? You can do that, absolutely. Yoga, meditation, years of practice, absolutely. I do not think we need psychedelics. I do not think as a society, I think a lot of people need them, but I don't think everybody needs them. I think if you're someone who meditates a lot, does a lot of yoga, a lot of contemplation, you can because the brain scans do the same thing, right? And the guy who he gave him this shit ton of LSD didn't do anything to him because his brain was already wired in such a way, right? Where his consciousnness is higher. Now, look, I am not a fucking special guy. In fact, I am just a fucking average person. I am just an average person with a very curious mind. I am by no means that motherfucker meditating on the mountains. And I live in society, and I have to do shit, and I have like to part-time job. I have to do things that are sort of like, I have to deal with people. Like the guy, you know what I mean? I don't have 10 hours a day to meditate. Because think of it just like practicing, right? I don't have all this time to do yoga. I do yoga 5 times a week, 6 times a week, but I mean, I'm not like crazy super hardcore in it. And I think, the way I think of it, is why not use this fungus? Because I'm not all that special to begin with. I'm not all that smart. I'm not all that intelligent. So for me, I need a push. I need a cheat code. And I've always been a cheater since I was like a little kid, for good and for bad. I've always been trying to find shortcuts. I'm like, why not? This is how I think of it. I'm just trying to show you my thought process here. Why not use this fungus, right? Ergot in LSD or mushrooms. Why not use this fungus that has no negative side effects on me, right? Only positive. And when I take it, I feel like my brain is like, it's like my brain is suddenly, whoo, you know? And if I have access to it, right? And if actually there's a chance that we have a symbiotic, meaning we need this, just like we need vegetables, just like we need spinach, just like we need those veggies for fiber and digestive system and minerals and you know, antioxidants, that we might also need that fungus for our brain. And that so Terence McKenna's theory is when we lost this connection, our symbiotic relationship with the mushroom, is when things started going downhill. When the ego structure had more time to develop and more space, and things started going downhill. But anyway, it's a crazy theory. Don't have to believe it. Terence McKenna had a lot of crazy theories, but just entertain the idea that I am just taking, you know, it's just again, it's think of it like a supplement. Right? It's just like I take multivitamins for supplements, because even though I eat my veggies and my fruits, I do not get enough nutrients. I take vitamin D because here in the winter we do not have sun in Canada. We do not. I mean, it's such a rare occurrence, and you don't get enough of it because the days are so short. So I have to take vitamin D supplements. I take multivitamins because, unfortunately, most of even the modern produce like vegetables and fruits have lost a lot of their nutrients, unfortunately. So I take multivitamins, and I've noticed a huge difference in my immune system when I started taking multivitamins versus without. I take multivitamins, I take vitamin D, I take fish oil, you know, so we take these supplements. So think of microdosing as another supplement for your brain, for your mind. Right? It expands your mind, expands your creativity. This is why microdosing is a no-brainer in Silicon Valley. Right? It's a no-brainer. Like they know, like this shit has no negative side effects. Only it makes you more creative, more positive, more kind, more loving towards your fellow humans, more productive, puts you more in the zone, more in the present, and they use it. You know, they use it. So the way I think of it is like it's a cheat code. It's one of the maybe the most potent cheat code we as characters playing in this game we can have access to, and to my not so smart mind, you know, to my pedestrian mind, okay, to my pedestrian mind, I look at this and I say, well, if God gave me this cheat code, why the fuck am I not using it? You see, why the fuck am I not using it? Especially when I've used it and I'm seeing so many positive effects it has on me. So yes, it is in many ways, in every single way, enhancing my form of reality. Does that mean I'm no longer sober and so there's some sort of discrepancy? When are we ever sober though? That's another thing. Like, what is sober? Define sober. When you go out into nature, and you know what happens if you're in nature long enough? Your body starts secreting oxytocin, the love hormone. So even when I'm in an environment like nature, am I really sober? I don't think sobriety exists. I don't think being sober exists. I really don't. When you drink a cup of coffee, are you sober? Right? When you have an orgasm, are you sober? I don't know if sober exists. I don't know. When you're in a shitty ass environment and it's like toxic and toxic fumes are all around you and you're breathing this shitty oxygen, are you sober, or is your state of consciousness being altered? Is it that our state of consciousness is always being altered, and that we as humans have the free choice to decide which state of consciousness I want to look at the world from? And this is how I see my relationship with microdosing. By no means am I telling anybody to go and microdose, and I just sharing experience, right? This is how I see my relationship with the microdosing. Because I've considered this idea. I'm like, Saeed, are you even Saeed anymore? I'm like, actually, you're more Saeed than you've ever been Saeed. Because, you know, you're more honest, you're more raw, and Does that mean I can go on without the microdosing? Well, I'll do what Joe Rogan did, the Sober October, where he went off weed for like a month. You know, I'll do that at some point. We'll do like a sober month where I go off microdosing, I go off LSD, I go off mushrooms. We'll do that. I promise you guys, we'll do that. I'll probably miss it, but I'll be just fine without it. I was always fine without it. It's just like, it's such a cheat code. It's right there, and it can, you know, it can enhance my life in every possible way. And God put it there. It's naturally occurring fungus. The way I see it is, for me, after seeing its effects and experiencing it firsthand, it would be crazy for me not to make use of God's food, of not to make use of this ultimate cheat code that God, the way I see it, God has given us. So, once again, bro, thank you for your comment. Much love, right? And just because we have different opinions, it doesn't fucking matter, right? Still love you, love every single one of you guys. That's it. Check out my free book, 5 Powerful Habits to Dominate Life Inside and Outside the Gym. Leave me something in the comments. Just leave me your opinions, right? What do you think about microdosing? Are you considering it? What's your experience with it? What do you think about what I just said? You know, what do you think? Just let me know in the comments, right? I would love to hear from you guys. Other than that, one family, one love, one heart. Love you guys. Don't forget to subscribe or you're gonna sleep with the fishes.